Welcome to So That Reminds Me, Reminder Publishing's bi-weekly podcast discussing Western Mass news. I'm Peyton North.
And I'm Dennis Hackett.
And we'll be your hosts for today's episode. Dennis, we're back. How you doing?
Good. It feels weird to be back in the chair again, even though we're on like a normal schedule right now.
I know. We were just saying off mic that it feels like it's been so long, and it has because it's been a month, but that's just what the normal rotation is. But yeah, I know. It feels like it's been a while since we've sat here.
Kind of feels like time's been flowing a little weird lately.
Yeah, fast. This summer's gone by so fast.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's September right around the corner. I've had multiple people talking to me about Christmas because we've got Toy for Joy that we're working on. Someone was talking about festival trees the other day. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, before you know it, it'll be Christmas time.
For Christmas shopping time.
Where did everything go?
I know. That's crazy.
We'll say, though, I'm definitely enjoying the weather lately with the very cool mornings and then the warm afternoons. Yep. Perfect.
Feels like fall in the morning. It's just comfortable. It's nice to not be just dying of heat constantly, the humidity. Yeah.
For sure.
What else? Anything good?
Just keeping busy, working out, doing some more reading and stuff, trying to get things going in those fronts. It's been good, so.
Nice. You read anything good?
I've been reading Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, which is like a kind of high fantasy story where it's like really cool power systems and a lot of political games and stuff that are pretty interesting. So
nice.
Working my way through it. There's like, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 books in this series, and I'm still on the first one. But
yeah, well, you started. That's all that matters. I just read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Nice little light summer read. Finished that on my vacation. And then I started Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Never read it. So many people love that book.
Yeah.
I'm probably 50 pages in, and it's just, I don't know if it's going to be for me. I want it to be for me. I've heard it's so good. You just need to stick through the beginning, but there's so much minutia of these high level, like, not even high level, just above my head, frankly, like talking about business deals, and it just it's not fun for me. Like, I read for fun. I read for escaping, and I'm just trying to understand this business stuff in the beginning. That's just really not for me.
It's a lot of like explaining. It feels like work. Exposition kind of just to set the stage.
So I'm hoping that I keep persevering, but honestly it's not. It's been like 2 weeks since I picked it up because I just am like, I'm not having fun, so it hasn't been something that I wanted to pick up, but I do need to get back to reading it so that I can move on to something else. But,
or you could just drop it and move on to something anyways.
I could, but I feel, I have had this conversation with one of my friends. She said she gets like 50 pages in. If she doesn't like it, she's done. She moves on.
That's smart.
And I get that. I think that's fair. But on the other hand, I feel like there are some books that if you can just get past that part, it's great after. And it's all teeing up or whatever. I read a great book last year when We Were Bright and Beautiful. And I forget who the author was, but the first 75 pages, I thought it was kind of slow, but then it picks up and it's so good. And I recommended it to multiple people. I gave it to my grandfather after to read it. He read it. I gave it to my friend who just said she quits after the first 50 pages. She really enjoyed it. So it was good. So I don't want to miss out on a good book.
Yeah.
And everyone loves this book. I have heard so many people say The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is great. But I don't know. Maybe it's not for me, or maybe I just need to push a little further. But yeah, I've got to get back to reading. It's hard.
Like me with TV shows too, though, where it's like I'll start something, I'm like, oh, this is good, and then I never finish it. There's so many shows where it's like a 8-10 episode season or whatever. I watched 4 episodes and never went back. Yeah. But speaking
of which, we're gonna have to talk about The Boys later because I finally finished season 3 and I've started season 4. I watched the first episode of season 4. And that show is something else. Another show that I never would have thought that I would actually enjoy. Yeah. But no. It's crazy.
You're in for some treats in season 4.
I have heard. So, yeah, other than that, that's really all I have going on. Back from vacation a week and a half ago.
You got your puppy, too.
The puppy, yes, he's growing. He's getting big. He has his second training this afternoon that we're going to, which is honestly, it feels like it's more like just training us, really. Like, he's got his routine. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. It's us understanding him. But we are going to be doing some like higher level training with him eventually once we get past the typical whatever stages. But he's working on right now desensitizing to certain things. he needs to build up his confidence a little bit. So what we were taught last week, and then what we've been doing with him, is taking cardboard boxes and like hiding treats in them, and he has to go in and find the treat, and then when the boxes fall, he used to get very nervous and he'd kind of jump away. Now he's good and he's used to the noise. So it's funny. It's just like the easiest little thing to do. But he is just loving it and having so much fun. And then he's exhausted afterward.
I'm sure.
The mental stimulation of seeking out these treats in these boxes. It's so cute. He's getting so big. We have to weigh him. He's got to be like mid-30s right now for weight.
Yeah. He's got the cutest big ears too.
God.
I'll see pictures of this dog and the ears get me every
They're
single
satellite
time.
dishes. They're massive.
Yeah.
Like he can get AM and FM on those things, I swear. They are huge. And he still has, they'll probably still continue to grow a little bit too.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of growing into them to do. They are massive. But that's what Malinois' ears are. And Shepherd's too. But Maverick, my Malinois, he had big ears. He still has big ears, but they look a little bit more normal on him. And Malice is just at this awkward stage right now where his ears are just huge and his little face is so tiny and sweet. But soon he will be an adult and he will just look mature. And I just want him to remain a cute little baby. But only probably a month or two left of that, sadly.
Yeah. But I mean, then he'll be a cute big baby.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. I don't know, this training, he's getting a little bit of training into bite work and protection sports. So I think he'll still be cute to us, but that's like a parent's love, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody else will probably be like, wow, keep him away from me. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to maintain some semblance of like, he's going to be a friendly, loving, happy dog. But, you know, when you turn him on, he's working type of thing. Which is good because it'll keep him mentally stimulated. You know, those dogs love to work. So it'll be good for him. But yeah, I'm just hoping that he'll maintain his cuteness to others too. Because, you know, there's nothing worse when you're walking your dog and people are like, oh my God. We have a woman at the lake. She's very nice, but she has a little dog. And anytime I take like Scout or Maverick out to go to the bathroom across the street, we have like a lot. She will like genuinely, if she's in the area, she picks up her dog, she turns around and walks the other way before they can even bark at her or do anything. She is not into them. And that's what you get when you have big dogs. And it just is what it is.
Some people are just kind of
skittish about it, and that's fine. But
obviously you hear horror stories about it too. So
absolutely. But yeah, it always cracks me up. Like, they are nice. But yeah, so she doesn't want to take the chance, and I get it. But yeah, so I'm just hoping Malice will maintain his friendly demeanor and his loving personality as we get into older age.
Yeah, you still got to bring him by the office someday too.
I know. I do need to get him over here before he gets way too big and like loses the puppy cuteness again. Yeah, I'll have to talk to him about that, getting Malice down here briefly before he gets into the... It's hard. He's still a puppy. He gets excited, and then he pees a little when he gets excited. Yeah. So don't want to bring him on the carpet.
My Riley's 4, and she still does that.
So. Oh, really?
she's a little special, but it's okay.
It's okay. We love her anyway. All right. Well, should we get into it? I don't think people really want to hear me.
No, we've been going on for a little bit now.
Every week I'll just be talking about my dog because that's what I have the most exciting thing. But all right, let's get into the podcast. Our episode topics, we actually only have 4 this week. We're going to get into it. We have Western Mass's bustling theater scene. County fairs are returning to the region, and we'll give you a breakdown of some of the upcoming fairs, some of them happening as soon as this weekend. A Chicopee kid was sworn in as a police officer for a day. It's the sweetest story. And a talk about the history of tobacco farming in Agawam. But first, we'll be right back after a short break.
Would you like to put your products and services before more than 2,500 potential customers in just one day? That's what a booth at the Prime Living Senior Expo can do for your business. If your goal is connecting with consumers age 50 plus, let the Prime Living Senior Expo help you reach this exploding market. To book your space for September 8th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in MGM's Aria Ballroom, contact your sales representative or visit primelifeexpo.com.
Small businesses are the heartbeat of our communities. And at the first annual Go Local Marketplace, over 20 local makers will be bringing what they do best to brew practitioners for all to enjoy. From food trucks to live music and more, Go Local Marketplace will be your place to shop small with friends and family in tow. Go Local Marketplace will take place on Saturday, October 5th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Brew Practitioners in East Longmeadow. Parking and admission to the event is free. Bring your friends and family to Go Local Marketplace and enjoy the best of what our small business community has to offer.
And we're back. For this week's first topic, we're going to be talking about the region's exciting theater scene. This story ran in Impact, a special section that ran with the August 15th editions of The Reminder. This section was all about the past, present, and future of Western Mass. One area that is especially bright is the future of theater in the region.
For this story, staff writer Ryan Fayer spoke with several different theater companies in the region about the challenges they're facing and their optimism for the future. From East Hampton to West Springfield, residents have the opportunity to check out new shows frequently. Some places, like Majestic Theater in West Springfield, have been longtime staples, but other companies have stood themselves up in recent years.
One newer group is the East Hampton Theater Company, which was established in 2023 and has put on 3 shows: God of Carnage, Torch Song, and The Man Who Came to Dinner. President Michael Budnick said that the entire area was ripe for theater, and the response was great when the word went out that the company was being established. He said that the company is just the beginning, with more volunteers than ever, and that the company has been a friendly and fun group.
While South Hadley has seen a few iterations of theater companies dating back to the South Hadley Community Theater in the 80s, the newest version is the South Hadley Players, which just finished its first season. Founder Cynthia Strikers said that the scene has seen a resurgence in the wake of COVID-19. She said, "COVID really brought us inward, and now I think people are really just wanting to express their emotions."
Strikers is no stranger to theater, as she founded the South Hadley Community Theater, ran Starlight Productions, and is now back with the South Hadley Players, an organization that brings some continuity forward with members from previous iterations of South Hadley Theater. She said that the Players' first production averaged about 200 audience members at South Hadley High School. She said that everyone involved has been enthusiastic about the latest version of the Players. Next up for the Players is a production of The Wizard of Oz later this year.
In addition to your typical theater production, some places, like the Play Incubation Collective in Northampton, offers a different way for artists to get their productions out there. Through programs like the Plays in Progress series, audience members can get a look behind the scenes of something a playwright has been working on, while also chatting with the playwright and trying to develop the draft further.
Along with the Plays in Progress series, they also offer a roving salon event where creators present 5 to 10 minute excerpts of their works in progress, along with other children's programming. Co-founder Rachel Hurst said that people are chomping at the bit to find new theater experiences in the area.
Several of the people Ryan spoke with said that one pervasive issue is the availability of rehearsal space. Budnick said that in the past, companies have had to utilize community spaces in theaters for rehearsal. This issue can also be exacerbated by the fact that many of the companies are nonprofits and rely on community donations. Places like the Amherst Community Theater have joined with other nonprofit groups in Amherst to work on a building that meets all the needs of a production space.
For Majestic Theater in West Springfield, they have been around for 27 years and typically produce 5 shows a year, including a musical. Associate producing director Sue Jura credited the theater's longevity because they always keep the audience in mind and are able to draw in a large number of actors for each production. She added the theater was in a great place in the region with an abundance of university theaters, community theaters, and smaller companies, and said, "I'm incredibly hopeful." So we've talked about this a few times now, but the theater industry in Western Mass is really kind of just gigantic and continues to grow.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for sure. I think last time we talked about this, we discussed, I went to a show at the Ludlow Theater. It was phenomenal. The set value, like everything was just really fantastic, super well done. It's exciting. We talked about, like you said, we talked about Majestic. We've talked about other theaters going on and, the renovations at, was it Victory?
Yeah.
Their renovations are amazing. That theater is going to be phenomenal. So certainly we're having such a huge resurgence in this area. And I'm excited to be able to get high quality shows right down the street. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and like I mentioned last time, I'm not the biggest fan of theater, but I really should just go out my door any given weekend, and I'm sure there's something that I could probably find to
absolutely
give a watch.
Yeah,
but
why not? Give it a try.
Go out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So yeah, obviously we've talked at length about theater, so it's nice to see that this is just such a big scene that continues to really boom.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to our next topic. It is fair season. From big to small, fairs are taking over the region. Let's do a rundown of some of the upcoming fairs. First, we will start with the biggest one of all. The Big E is starting in less than a month. Beginning on September 13th through the 29th, the Big E will open their doors to nearly 1.5 million people for the duration of the fair. This is particularly exciting for the Reminder publishing staff, as each year our reporters look forward to heading out to the Big E Fairgrounds a few weeks prior to the fair for their media taste event. This event welcomes members of the media to try out and subsequently promote all the new food offerings the fair will have in the coming weeks. For information on the new foods, pay close attention to the Reminder's Instagram account next Thursday, our website, and the August 29th editions of the Reminder.
The next fair we need to talk about is the fair going on right now as this episode drops, the Hardwick Community Fair, which is taking place on August 16th and 17th, and calls itself the oldest fair in the United States, as it was first established in 1762 under British rule. Staying true to historical roots, the Hardwick Fair is hosted on the town common and offers blacksmithing, pottery, and sheep shearing demonstrations, and a lumberjack contest. The full program can be found at hardwickfair.com.
Next, we have the Three-County Fair in Northampton, which takes place over Labor Day weekend, August 30th through September 2nd. This fair stakes the claim of being recognized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture as the oldest ongoing fair in continuous operation in the U.S., with the first one taking place in 1818 and every year since without interruption. The Three-County Fair offers everything from agricultural and craft exhibits and competitions, rides and games, demo derbies, local music, and food trucks from around the area.
The Westfield Fair is also taking place as we speak from August 16th to 18th. Folks can come out and support the nonprofit agriculture-based fair, providing the opportunity for local exhibitors to enter and compete in agriculture-based competitions. There are sheep, dairy cows, beef cows, horse pulling, oxen pulling, and many exhibits. Admission to the Westfield Fair goes directly to paying premiums for competition winners and for upkeep on the grounds to keep the fair going from year to year.
The Cummington Fair is celebrating its 156th year, running from August 22nd to 25th. The Blandford Fair is also having a big year, their 155th over Labor Day weekend, which is run entirely by volunteers. And finally, the Belchertown Fair is in its 165th year on September 20th through the 22nd, celebrating agricultural roots and the active growing community. The fair is host to approximately 30 to 38,000 visitors annually. This year's theme is Barn in the USA. The fair features a parade, vendor booths, exhibits, midway amusement rides, and more.
Yeah, we're really starting to kick up into one of my favorite times of year with fair season.
I know, me too. I didn't get the chance to go to the Big E last year or any fairs, really.
Yeah.
And I am so excited. I am ready to be at the Big E all the time, and I'm smiling to myself as I say this because we have Chris Mazza in the room right now, who I know is a huge Big E hater. And I'm like, I'll live there.
You might even say
I'm
the
ready to
biggest.
go. Yeah, probably the biggest Big E hater. You may say that. Yeah, but I'm excited. I was supposed to go last year, and then unfortunately my grandfather passed away, so I did not do anything last fall, anything fair related. And normally I go to at least one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get the opportunity to get back out there.
Yeah, no, usually, well, there was a good 10-year stretch before I started working here where I just hadn't gone to the Big E, which was...
Did you grow up going to the Big E at all?
Oh, my God. So, let's see, until I was probably 12 years old, we went every single year.
Oh, really?
And then I kind of started falling off because I didn't feel like going, which was kind of stupid, to be honest. But
it was prime time to be there.
I know.
Teenagers
Yeah.
in the Big E. I never went to the Big E until I was probably 16, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had zero interest in going and doing that. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Oh, God. I'm rapidly aging before I'm fair. Let's make puns. But, yeah, she had no interest in taking us to that, but she did once. I don't know what it was that made her feel like she should take us. She took me, my brother, and at least two of my cousins, and we all went for a day. And it was so much fun. I loved it. And then, of course, I started to be able to drive myself,
Yeah.
and so I would go with friends. Usually I'd go once a year, once every other year, maybe. But then once I started working here, we had the taste event. We'd go and do that, and that would get me hyped up to go and actually get to try the good foods again with friends. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to go back and get over there and try out some good food. Usually Storoten does like some sort of amazing soup.
Yeah, I remember at the taste one year they had
cheeseburger chowder. Yeah. Oh my
Read
gosh.
my mind.
Yes, phenomenal.
So good.
And 2 years ago they had something good too, and I remember seeking that out. It was in a bread bowl.
No, that was the cheeseburger.
Was it the cheeseburger chowder?
Because that was 2 years ago. Because neither of us went to the taste last year.
I feel like that was a lot longer. Well, whatever. I don't know. Time is escaping me anyway. So in any case, if listeners have not tried going to the Storoten Taverns, they call it a soup something. Is it a soup shack? They have a specific booth for their soups. It's so phenomenal. It's kind of right by the Avenue Estates.
Yep.
And they always have something good cooking up there, especially if you want something a little heartier and not necessarily fried or
yeah. Mm-hmm. But usually there's some kind of performance right in that area too, like throughout the day. So something to watch while you enjoy your food.
Can't wait until it's 10 a.m. next Thursday and we're at the V1 vodka spot, seeing whatever they're cooking up, having vodka way too early in the day.
Might not be a good thing to let people know that we drink on the job like that.
It's part of the job. You got to tell people. You have to tell the community if the drink is good.
That's true.
How can they trust us? Yeah. How can they trust us if we have not sampled the wares?
This is true.
They had Dirty Shirley's a couple years ago, just Shirley Temples with vodka. Those were good. They had espresso martinis too. I remember Mike Dobbs, sweet man who like sticks to one drink anytime he ever has anything. Yep. And he comes up to me with an espresso martini and he was like, "Oh my God, this is so strong." It was delicious. Yeah, it's always a good day. It's always fun. A little team bonding.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good way to get a few people out there to test the different foods. Then obviously we'll do like a little story that people will be able to read for the 29th. So
Yep, absolutely. That'll be in our upcoming edition. And like I said, on social media too next week and the website.
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this whole thing because I missed all of it last year.
Me too.
So for context, I had a stomach bug when we were supposed to go to the taste last year, so I was out on that. And then when I was supposed to actually go to the Biggie, guess what? I got COVID. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's a shame. But, yeah. Well, I was supposed to go to the taste, and then I didn't get to because I had a wedding to go to on a Thursday, no less, in Newport, Rhode Island. So I could have tried to make it. But gosh, it would have been a close call, and I wouldn't have nearly enough time to get ready for the wedding. And you think weekend traffic going down there is just sometimes torture. So.
Yeah, that would have been a logistical nightmare.
Yes, but it probably would have been worth it, to be honest. But we're back. We're back, and we're better than ever. Yep. We're going to have a great fair season this fall.
Yes, we are. Now, obviously, this isn't all the fairs in our region, just a few of the highlights, but be sure to be on the lookout for your favorite fairs as the season comes around and go out and support your local agricultural community. For more information on upcoming fairs, head to thereminder.com.
And we'll be right back after a short break.
Since the founding of Reminder Publishing over 60 years ago, The Reminder has brought local businesses together with their customers through our advertising and coverage. Over the past 4 years, The Reminder has been adding to its reporting and expanding our readership, while other newspapers in the region, state, and country have scaled back or closed. We want local community journalism to thrive and grow, and are asking our readers and listeners to support and participate. The Reminder Press Club's mission is to ensure that local journalism is sustainable and leading healthy community discussions. The Reminder Press Club is a way for you to support the crucial work of professional reporters covering the vital stories in our community. Learn more about the Reminder Press Club or join at reminderpressclub.com. We get it. You're busy, but you want to be connected to your local community. If you're not reading The Reminder, Western Mass's free weekly newspaper, you're missing out on the heartbeat of your town. Stay in the loop with all the latest buzz, from local stories to community updates and exciting events. It's all in The Reminder. Just log on to thereminder.com and dive into the hometown news you love. To subscribe to receive The Reminder at your home, call 413-788-1316. Don't miss a beat. Your town, your stories, your community for over 60 years. The Reminder. We are hometown news.
And we're back for For this week's third topic, a boy in Chicopee was sworn in as a police officer for a day. Xander Padilla is a 7-year-old Make-A-Wish recipient who was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which can affect the lungs, digestive system, and other organs in the body.
Prior to being sworn in as a police officer, the department escorted Xander to a jungle-themed Disney party before he departed for Walt Disney World Resort, a wish that was granted by Make-A-Wish Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
At the ceremony, he was sworn in by Mayor John View and Police Chief Patrick Major. View said that, quote, joining the department comes with a lot of responsibility, and I know you are very brave. He added that he was excited for him because he was joining a family. Xander also received a certificate from the Massachusetts Municipal Police Training Committee for basic training and graduating from the MPTC Academy's one-day course.
Major said that Xander had all the traits to be a great police officer. He said that Xander had integrity, loyalty to his community, the ability to be true to himself, strength, and courage. Xander also received recognition from State Senator Jake Oliveira, who presented him with a citation from the state.
Following his swearing-in ceremony, Xander was treated to donuts from Dunkin' before beginning his duties for the day.
That's
I just want to
so
say,
cute.
I know.
That is the cutest thing. They really leaned in.
They seriously did.
That's adorable.
But if you want to see pictures, if you head to the reminder.com, we have a picture of him being sworn in with View and the police chief. And then we also have a picture of him enjoying a donut that Tyler took. So
he is so precious. And how sweet. It's funny. His wish was to work.
Yeah.
The sweet boy. He just wanted to be a police officer. That's so cute.
Yeah, seriously, like, you just see, like, of all the things that you could do, obviously he went to Disney World, which is awesome.
Yes.
But that he wanted to be a police officer, I don't know. I think that really says something about...
Absolutely. I think that View is very correct in his assessment of, his qualities. I mean, that's the sweetest thing, that he is just wants to help his community. That's so sweet.
It's just really admirable to kind of see this. Like, I mean, I know when I was a kid, like, for context, my dad's a police officer. When I was that age, like, that was what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like, you always look up to your heroes and stuff, and you're like, oh, I want to do what they do. Mm. So I can totally see where Xander would have been coming from with wanting to do that.
Yeah, that's so great. And I love that Make-A-Wish was able to do this for him. It's so nice to see, a local kid getting their wish and just absolutely loving it.
Yeah. And you really can't understate the value of the work that they do with Make-A-Wish.
No.
Like, when kids have to deal with such horrible things, just to have something that can come and just kind of try to brighten their day up like that, it's just...
Absolutely. I'm glad he got his party. He's going to Disney World, and he got to be a police officer for the day.
And he got to enjoy some donuts, too.
And some donuts. Gosh, it just doesn't get better than that.
No. Love me my Dunkin' Donuts. But, yeah.
And our final topic of today's episode, we're discussing an upcoming talk that Dwayne Adams is hosting at the Agawam Historical Association. It's titled Shade Tobacco in the Connecticut Valley, and on August 24th, it will be at the Thomas Smith House. When he was 14, growing up in Windsor, Connecticut during the 1950s, Adams earned 61 cents per hour working on tobacco farms.
Currently a member of the board of directors for the CT Valley Tobacco Museum in Windsor, Connecticut, Adams will talk about the history of shade tobacco and why tobacco is still grown in Agawam and other parts of the Connecticut River Valley, which covers the area from just south of Middletown, Connecticut, and north to southern Vermont. He hopes to help educate people about the history of the cigar tobacco agriculture industry in this area.
According to the Historical Association, there were more than 200 tobacco sheds in Agawam in 1915. Only a handful remain, including one near the Smith House on Northwest Street. Tobacco was widely grown on farms throughout Agawam and Feeding Hills from the mid-1800s through 1970s, some shade but mostly broadleaf. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Hinsdale-Smith-Cuba Connecticut Tobacco Company raised hundreds of acres of tobacco at what's now known as the Agawam Regional Industrial Park and the Tuckahoe Turf Farm, Stillbrook.
In the 1920s, there was approximately 30,000 acres of tobacco cultivated in the region. Now, the museum reports that only 25 acres of shade tobacco was grown here. Tobacco farming in the Connecticut River Valley was already being grown by the native population when the first settlers arrived in the 1600s. It was primarily used in pipes, but the popularity of cigars eventually overtook pipe smoking. The use of Connecticut Valley tobacco as a cigar wrapper Leaf began in the 1820s with farmers growing tobacco for the two outside layers of cigars, the binder and the wrapper.
Finding workers, according to Adams, has always been an issue for tobacco farmers in the area. During World War II, farmers recruited college students from black colleges in the South. In the 50s, farmers depended on high school students for workers. They had to be 14 years old. Adams shared that when he was a student, it wasn't will he work on tobacco, but rather which farm will he work on. Adams said today the high school population seems far less interested in farm work, which has forced farmers to find workers through the government from places like Jamaica. He said wages today for workers under the H-2A program are paid an hourly wage of $17.80 an hour in Connecticut. A New York Times article reported in the mid-1990s that the cost to raise 1 acre of shade tobacco was $30,000. That's much higher today.
In his presentation on August 24th, Adams will bring a number of props, including stone tools used by the Native Americans and tobacco seeds to show the way the plants are grown today versus how plants were grown prior to the 1960s. The presentation starts at 2 p.m., and the Smith House is located at 251 Northwest Street in Feeding Hills.
I think this will be a great talk. It sounds like Adams is very knowledgeable about this. I mean, it seems like back in his day, and I mean, our parents' day, our grandparents, they were all doing this. I believe my dad has told me in the past that he worked on a tobacco farm. Just like Adams said, it wasn't about, are you going to do it? It's which farm are you going to?
Yeah, and I mean, you really think about it, it's just a completely different kind of ideology compared to what we have today. Like, you just wouldn't see kids working like on a farm like that anymore. I mean, obviously, if you're like younger, like maybe you're helping your parents out, but like this age, like 14 or older or whatever, really, you're just kind of not seeing that as much anymore. You're probably working at a grocery store or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, are the ages still 14? I don't know if it's still 14 that you can start working on a farm. I feel like Massachusetts labor laws is 16 probably.
Probably, yeah.
And then you're right. Kids are probably going in, they're working at Dunkin', they're going and working at the grocery store, they're doing things like that. Not necessarily the hard labor of farming, especially if the pay is right around the same as to what they could be doing in a nice air-conditioned building.
And so, plus, there's less farms to really offer that. So.
Yeah. We do have a decent amount of local farms for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a different workforce coming in, and kids aren't necessarily looking at that as much as they used to back in the day.
These kids and their dang iPads.
Oh, God. Oh, well, we can't even get started on the iPads thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a different type of worker. I think also, like, a lot of kids probably aren't familiar with that kind of work. Like, back in the day, our grandparents probably had their own gardens, our great-grandparents, whatever. They were gardening a lot. They were buying. They were planting their own crops at home, so kids were familiar with that. And now probably a lot of families aren't doing that as much. They're not as knowledgeable on those things, so they aren't going and seeking those type of jobs or necessarily knowing that those type of jobs are available.
Yeah. And obviously it's probably hard with the school schedule, too, to go farming, but, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So that wraps up today's episode of So That Reminds Me. Be on the lookout for our next episode, which will be a special one featuring many interviews with candidates up for election from the Sheriff's Picnic.
Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Thanks for listening to So That Reminds Me, produced by Western Massachusetts news source Reminder Publishing. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, find the latest news at thereminder.com, and follow Reminder Publishing on Instagram at Reminder Publishing, on X at The Reminder MA, and on Facebook. Reminder Publishing, we are hometown news.